Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM19 story, The Head Coach with me, Daniel. It's Season 8, Episode 2, and today we play high-flying Manchester City in the Premier League as we look to continue our fantastic start to the league season. That's right, as you can see, we're all the way up in 5th place at the moment, although it's very tight from 1st down to 12th, and we're remarkably led by Stoke City after this early stage of the season. You can see how tight it is in there. We've got one of the worst goal differences of the lot. We've only got the 7th most goals in the league and the 9th best defensive record, but we've obviously done enough just to win more games than a couple of others. We're absolutely delighted with where we stand at the moment, and although there are a couple of bits of disappointment, we're really doing quite well overall. One of the problems we have got today is again injury crisis. We've got a lot of players out and they're all in one position again, although thankfully it's not right back this time. But first things first, let's go and look at the transfers since the last episode. There's not much that's gone on. In terms of ins, we've got a couple of free agents, which our director of football decided to bolster the squad with. And I'm not sure if any have gone out, just a few of the youngsters on loan. So a couple of those we mentioned we signed on youth work permits in the last episode. They're not able to play in the league games. They've made 1 or 2 appearances in the Carabao Cup, but they're now off to Grasshoppers in Switzerland. And then Kenneth Effiong and Nigel Porter, who we didn't mention in the last episode, have both gone on loan to my beloved Luton Town. But the 2 signings that we have got in on a free, which we completely thank our world-class director of football for, are Samuel Mulattieri, I think that is. He's an Italian 24-year-old playmaker, plays in the number 10 role, but can cover on either side, which is crucial. He can also play up front if need be. He's a 3-star attacking midfielder, 3.5-star potential, and even if he doesn't get first-team football here, he's certainly going to make us a very big profit. A former Italy under-21 international and a really decent pro across the board. The other one is a young goalkeeper, again on a youth work permit, so we can't use him in the first team games, although he did play both Carabao Cup ties. A 20-year-old Spaniard who's capped at under-20 level, and he just looks a decent young keeper. 2.5-star ability, 4-star potential, and he could become something quite special as well. It looks like our director of football certainly got an eye on young talent, and he's trying to bring in the finest wonder kids and youth players in the world. If he does that and we can keep hold of them, we could build quite a special team. But we've got a few standout performers this season already. If we go to our schedule to see what's been going on, you are with me for that first game of the season against Burnley. A fantastic 2-0 win where our new wonder kid striker scored both. We followed it up with a 2-2 draw at home to Tottenham. Horace Stewart, the Ballon d'Or winner, with a brace for them including a 92nd minute equaliser. But Mauro Oliveira and Mason Greenwood, the 2 free agents from the summer, both scoring a goal in that one to get us a point. 2 Premier League free agents from our director of football, and they already proved their worth in that game. We had our 1 league defeat after that. We were played off the park by Manchester United. They've got an assortment of world-class players. Ousmane Dembele and an Everton brace with the goals. If you're not familiar with Everton, have a look at him here. A good winger on either side, and he's just got fantastic attributes across the board. We then played against our former club Barnsley. We won it 4-2 in the end, and Oliveira hat-trick after a Tulloch brace got them back into the game, and Douglas Luiz scored a goal in that one too. A really exciting game, and Oliveira's becoming an absolute superstar. We then had a bit of a scare, but overall a narrow victory on penalties against Oxford in the Carabao Cup. Lavinas got the goal, the wonder kid for us. He's the one who was already here last year. Oxford equalised, but we nicked it on pens. We managed to win it 4-2 in the end. John Fleck was playing for Oxford in that one. I only bring him up because around 2009-10, he was one of the very best wonder kids on the game, and I used to absolutely love buying him at every single club. We followed up with a 2-1 win away to Liverpool on the TV. This was a real statement of intent. Oliveira and an own goal put us 2-0 ahead with 5 minutes to go. Liverpool got a late one back, but it was a really thoroughly professional performance. We then won 3-1 at home to Bristol City. Another fantastic game. We were comfortably 3-0 ahead. Gylfi Sigurdsson getting his first of the season off the bench, and a late consolation denied us a clean sheet. And perhaps the best performance of the season came after that. A 0-0 draw against Arsenal. You might think, why is this the best performance? I'm going to take you in to have a look at the match stats. 29 shots and 11 on target, and they had 2 with 1 on target. Nearly 2/3 of the possession. So many good opportunities. Leno and Wallace were absolutely sensational. Wallace made 2 goal line clearances and Leno 3 absolutely world-class saves. The rest of their attacking team wasn't too good, but those 2 players certainly won them a point. We then lost unfortunately 2-1 away at Watford in the Carabao Cup, probably the biggest disappointment of the season so far. I mentioned after last year, obviously we focused on the Cups a lot due to our brilliant runs. We really wanted to have a go at a trophy this year, and it had to be Callum Wilson that scored the decisive goal. Ranson got a late consolation for us, the wonder kid, but unfortunately it wasn't enough. And then away to West Ham, Mason Greenwood got another goal, as well as Billy Gilmour's first for the club, and again a late consolation wasn't enough for West Ham. So perhaps the one slight concern out of that run, and you may not have noticed it since the last episode, our wonder kid striker Bernard hasn't scored at all. 7 appearances and 2 goals, but they were both in that first game against Burnley. So we've got to be careful of that one, but hopefully as he develops, he'll become more consistent and assured in front of goal. But a decent run nevertheless, and we seem to be flying high in the league at least. We've got to have a go at the FA Cup when that comes around, but unfortunately it doesn't look like we're going to win a trophy this year. The main objective after this start is to make sure we're in the top half. We want to be nowhere near the relegation battle at all, try and have a go at the FA Cup, and if we can sneak 7th place or an FA Cup Europa League qualification, then that would be absolutely fantastic. But let's get into this game against City. Certainly going to be one of our toughest tests of the season, playing away to the side that are second in the league and have an absolutely massive budget this year, just as they have done in the past. Since this save started just 8 years ago, they've played 17 times and Newcastle have only won once, and they've only had one other occasion where they've denied City victory. So we can see who the favourites are, but let's go and have a look at the lineup we'll pick for today. So I've gone as strong as I think we can. We've only actually got 18 fit players, and one of those has got a slight injury and knock. But we are struggling a little bit defensively, and more importantly on the wings, where we haven't got any real options available, with both Iwobi and Lavinas missing out. So that means we've got David Raya in goal, Matiju and Lewis are the fullbacks, with Konza and Lascelles in the middle. Danilo's covering for Douglas Luiz in the Segundo Volante role we love so much. It's really become a stalwart in this formation. And then Billy Gilmour's the deep line playmaker as always. We've got Oliveira in the number 10 role. Arzani's back in on the right with Greenwood covering on the left. And then Florentin Bernard's up front, hoping to get back to scoring ways today. We've got the likes of Ransan and Mulatieri on the bench. We've still got the likes of Sigurdsson and Congolo, the experienced men, a backup reserve keeper, youngster Martin Chapman, and then the injured Rivera. So not the strongest bench, but hopefully we can do enough with our starting 11. It's all about keeping the score down today and really trying to compete against the top side. We've done it against Liverpool and Spurs, but hopefully this one won't go the way the United game did. Let's get into it and see if we can get a result. The classic 4-3-3 for City. They've still got De Bruyne, Jesus, Bernardo Silva and Sterling. Benjamin Mendy's at left back as well. And they've got some world-class players in the middle. The centre-halves at PSG at the moment in real life. Kovacic from Chelsea at the moment, obviously on loan from Real Madrid. And let's get into it and give the lads the team talk. We'll tell them to prove a point, but I think this is going to be a backs against the wall performance. Something we haven't seen much from this side, probably not since the FA Cup final. So hopefully they've still got the battle hard to do it. It's Raya with the ball at the back. We've been keeping the ball brilliantly this year, playing some really nice football, maybe not always scoring the goals. Raya has to make an early save from a Bernardo Silva free kick though, and with 5 minutes gone it's still goalless. We've got a corner with Arzani, in towards Greenwood but it's headed away. Arzani recycles it on the left. Can he get the ball inside? He does to Lascelles. There's a man over on the right but he's forced backwards and goes all the way back to Jamal Lewis on halfway. He finds Matiju. Danilo the Segundo Volante. He finds Arzani on the right wing. Can he get a crossing? He can't. Mendy does really well to block and go inside. Composed clearance and De Bruyne's got it in the box and we forced him into a rush clearance which Greenwood will recover. He gets the ball to Gilmour. Gilmour finds Danilo. Now Arzani coming into the box. Goes wide for Matiju who can cross, but it's another poor delivery that hits De Bruyne and they go long to Jesus up front. He's in one-on-one and scores, and what an awful goal to concede after dominating possession in the half for City. Unfortunately we've given them a goal with one long ball over the top. We mentioned with the high defensive line that might be a problem, but it hadn't looked like being one so far this season. Only against United did we get caught out with it, and it looks like the same's going to happen against City. Lascelles with a poor clearance this time. He finds Bernardo Silva, skins the whole team, and it's a good save by Raya. But what on earth is happening at the back? We're never normally this weak. De Bruyne clears it into the middle. Unfortunately, it's gone over 2 players who missed a header, and Danilo can bring it away play down the right. Can we get the ball in behind towards Bernard? We can, but it's headed away. A really poor ball in the end, and we've got a throw in on the right hand side. Matiju finds Danilo. Only 12 minutes gone and we're seeing plenty of action. Konza goes all the way back to Raya. Raya coming forward in the middle to the left hand side. Greenwood gets up, but Dumbia wins the header. We've got a warning to close Jesus down, but it's a little bit late now. He scored. Bernardo charges past 4 or 5. He's got to be one of the best players in the world. He looked absolutely ridiculous in this one. He's a model citizen, an elite attacking midfielder, and at 31 he looks like an absolute superstar. But let's stop getting distracted and go back for the City corner. Fingers crossed we won't let in a second. De Bruyne with an outswinger. Lascelles heads it away as far as Oliveira. Can he produce another moment of magic? We'll never find out as the highlight ends. We've had a warning to close down Bernardo Silva. He's been a bit like Messi in this game. He picks the ball up anywhere on the pitch and just runs past everyone. They can't get the ball off him. I have no idea how he's become that good. I know he's a very good player in real life, but this is unstoppable on every single run he goes on. Danilo on the edge though to Arzani. Oh, we could have got an equaliser there. Probably don't deserve it. We've been outplayed since those very early stages, and unfortunately Arzani puts the ball well over. It's a long clearance from City, goes all the way to Konza. He starts again with Raya the keeper. We've got 2 men dropping in to collect it. That's what Danilo's supposed to be doing, but unfortunately they've not given him the ball. Konza finds Lewis. He comes inside. He does find Danilo now. He goes to Oliveira. Can he produce a moment of magic? What a ball to Bernard! And now he has got his goal. He only ever scores on camera. We'll have to show you every game for Bernard. What a wonderful finish that is. And Oliveira with yet another moment of magic. He was doing his own impersonation of Lionel Messi there. Wonderful play. Dribbled beautifully, and the through ball was absolutely exquisite, and Bernard was equal to it with the finish. A wonderful team goal, and we don't deserve to be level, but we'll very much take it. Is City keeping possession at the back again though? They've gone back to their keeper. Can they get the ball forward, or are they going to keep it at the back? Of course they go short. This is City we're talking about. We can panic them into something long though, but it's a composed ball out to Dumbia. He charges down the right hand side. Jamal Lewis blocks the cross, but it went to that man Bernardo Silva again. Kovacic running through the team this time. He finds Sterling. A good effort, but Raya makes a great save. We haven't seen much of Sterling yet. Obviously in real life he's been a star man for City this year, but hasn't contributed too much in this game. Oliveira brings the ball away from a corner. Bernard's taking on the centre half. There's 2 in the middle, but he does well. Gets all the way to the byline and wins an attacking throw. Lewis gets it into Gilmour. Lewis back to Danilo at the edge. Goes for the shot, but it's blocked. Kipembe clears away. The man who famously gave away the penalty against United in the Champions League in real life. But as we get to half time, it looks like we're going to be level at the break. A wonderful effort from the lads, even though Man City have probably had slightly the better of it. There we go then. City had nearly all the shots on target, but it's 1-1 and that's all that matters. We're going to tell the lads they were excellent as they're competing really well, and fingers crossed in the second half they can just hold on for what would be a fantastic point. It's Kovacic in the middle for them. He's coming forward again. He's doing his impersonation of Messi now. Everyone's just dribbling hundreds of yards. He's gone all the way to Sterling at the back post. He finds Mendy and now De Bruyne. Back to Morin. De Bruyne again. He finds a good ball out to the right, but Dumbia can't keep it in. It's just overhit in the end. A couple of minutes into the second half and we remain level at 1-1. It's Matiju with a throw on the right. De Bruyne heads it away to Sterling. He's trying to take them all on now, but it's blocked. Arzani finds Gilmour, the deep line playmaker. Back to Arzani again. We're playing some really lovely stuff when we are getting on the ball. We're probably just not getting it in attacking areas enough. Gilmour again. He finds Oliveira, loses out this time to Kovacic. De Graaf at the back for City. All the way back to the keeper. Kipembe with a short back pass. He's undercooked it and Bernard sneaks in and scores. He hasn't scored in any of the games off camera. Got 2 on the opening day against Burnley when you guys were watching, and he's got 2 again today against City. Maybe he does just love playing up to the camera because he's not looked like scoring in between. Arzani charging forward on the break. Mendy challenges him out for a throw, and what a wonderful counter-attacking display this has been. Arzani with a corner. Overhit past everyone. Mendy heads away as far as Danilo. His cross is blocked and now it's going to be brought back on the left-hand side. De Bruyne gets it inside to Mendy and long up towards Sterling in the middle. He finds Jesus over the top. Lewis is chasing him down but doesn't get there, and it was hit with power, but Raya probably should have saved it. Went straight through his hands and into the empty net. An awful bit of goalkeeping, even though it was hit with power. We've got another warning to close Silva down. It's 2-2 with an hour gone, and in a couple of minutes time we'll think about some subs. Just over 15 minutes left. It's still level, but it's City coming forward again with Morin. He switches it to Doumbia. They've got a man inside if he can find him. Doumbia goes alone though, and Raya makes a good save this time. Tips it behind for a corner down to his right hand side. His rating's gone into the 7s, so the match engine obviously doesn't think he's at fault for that second goal. It certainly looked it on the face of things, but unfortunately for us, it seems to have gone down as a legitimately good strike. 15 to go. Let's make a sub or two, see if we can shore up the defensive areas. We've got Mason Greenwood, who's going to be tired. He's not playing in his natural position. We're going to bring Ranzan on for him. It's a role he's played a couple of times. He'll go as an advanced playmaker on support, just to try and keep the ball a little bit more. Rivera should really be coming on, but he's injured. Danilo's looking nervous, and I don't know if I want to risk him for too long. What's Rivera like in that holding role? He's not too bad, actually, but he prefers to be a deep-lying playmaker on defend, so we'll oblige and let him do that. Let's get back into it. We'll save our last sub for a few more minutes, and we'll make it towards the end if we need a time wasting sub. It's De Bruyne with a free kick, the left angle of the box. Raya makes a save, falls for Morin, but Gilmour gets there. A warning to close Sterling down this time, and we've just got to hang on for 10 more minutes. It would be such a good result, and it's been a really decent effort too. 5 to go, let's just make that final sub in a minute. We'll see out this attack first. Matiju throws it into Rivera. Lascelles to Gilmour. He's been caught on it by Zambrano. De Bruyne over the top. Jesus is in for a hat-trick. This could be a deflating blow. Jesus gets his hat-trick. Another ball over the top beats us. How good has Gabriel Jesus become on this game? He's not even that quick, but he's very agile in the channels and has become one hell of a finisher. Scoring at nearly 1 in 2 in over 200 appearances is not really that bad, is it? Let's make a substitution then. What have we got left? We might as well bring Chapman on now, just to give him a couple of minutes on the big stage. Alice Matiju comes off, and Martin Chapman, the youngster, comes on. We haven't got any subs in attacking positions, bar the Italian number 10 and Gylfi Sigurdsson, who's 36. Due to injuries, that's the problem we've got. We're missing the likes of Iwobi and Lavinas. One last chance with Arzani though. Lascelles heads it over the bar and the whistle goes. We've lost narrowly 3-2 to City. Jesus with a hat-trick to wipe out Bernard's brace. He's done really well on camera again, and fingers crossed that can kickstart his season and he'll score some goals when you lot aren't watching too. But a really decent performance against a side that will probably challenge for the title, and although we didn't expect to win the game, it was a very pleasing performance. Let's go and look at what the media have said about the game and plan when we'll next be back. Bernard's goal drought ends, we mentioned that. Konza's picked up a knock too. You can see that's the 6th player we've got out. All first teamers. Riedewald at the back, Rivera and Douglas Luiz in the middle, and then Iwobi and Lavinas on the wings. Lavinas out for 6 weeks with a broken collarbone. Iwobi's been out for a couple of weeks, but he's almost back, so after the international break most of these guys should be fit, though I'm sure another 1 or 2 will get injured during that time. We'll deal with the press conference in a moment. Someone was watching the game. Who is it? It's the Milan boss looking at David Raya. They're certainly not signing him, as he's the only keeper we can play in the league. Let's go and look at what that means for the league table then. It was the early kickoff, so we're not going to drop down yet, but potentially we could be in 8th place after this round of fixtures, and the likes of Tottenham and Liverpool behind us as well are going to pose a very stiff opposition. We've got Wolves down in 11th. They're the team we almost joined. It looks like they've been given money to improve in the summer too, and Arsenal are really struggling down in 12th. So if we could finish in the top 10, we've only got to beat 2 of those sides. Perhaps most importantly though, after the struggles of last year, the relegation zone is on 3 points. Obviously we'd like Barnsley to stay up, but that's a huge gap up to where we are and shows that we're going to have no trouble with that end of the table this year. Let's go and finish on the schedule though to see when we might next be back. I'm trying to work out where the bigger games will be here. I'd like to show you some of the games against big teams as we've competed quite well in those. I know it means we might not see so many victories on camera, but I'd certainly like to show us competing against the best of sides. We're at that stage now where we need to make it to the elite and either do that here or attract the interest of some top European clubs, whether it be La Liga, the Bundesliga, the Italian League or here in the Premier League. We want to get a top move or take Newcastle back into Europe. So the next huge game here is Chelsea. That's all the way up on Boxing Day. I'm just trying to count how many games in between. Just the 9 actually, so that's not too bad. We'll probably come back for that Chelsea game then. And then that leaves us a nice little gap to follow it up with the FA Cup 3rd round or the Barnsley return fixture against our former club. So certainly a decent start to the season, and hopefully we can continue that against all of these mid-table sides, apart from Stoke, who are obviously right up the top, before we play Chelsea in the next one on camera. But if you did enjoy this episode, please put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know down in the comments what you think of our Director of Football's summer business, as well as his use of the free agent market, something I've not seen other Director of Footballs do quite so well. And then obviously let us know what you think of our performances on the pitch and where you think we're going to finish this year. It's certainly been a promising start, but we really need to rely on Bernard to keep scoring goals. Subscribe to the channel for daily FM19 content from my 2 long-term stories. This one, the head coach with Newcastle United, and then our other one club series with Torquay United, where we tried to take them all the way to the top of English and European football. Our FIFA 19 lower league career series finished last Friday, so go back and check that one out if you haven't yet. But a massive thanks for watching and your continued support as always, and we'll see you next time for another big Premier League game.